Smokies Edibles now has the real deal Delta 9 edibles on their website. Order them now. Smokies.com. That's SMOKIEZ.com. Use promo code LEGENDARY for a discount and get yourself some Smokies Edibles. Check them out. Bam.
Hey, I'm Bella Lexi, and I'm here for the Anthony Rogers Show, and we are about to walk into Chicago Exotica.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Sean from Smile Empty Soul here in beautiful St. Louis, Missouri at Firebrand Recording, which is a wonderful studio here, tracking our new record, Swan Song, which will start to be released one song at a time here in probably about June, and then the whole thing will come out at the end of the year. So keep your ears peeled for it and check it out when it comes out.
So I'm Dennis with the Anthony Rogers Show podcast. My question for you is, what would you do if you became president to help the working class?
Well, I think the principal thing right now is housing. The price of housing is going up, and it's beyond the reach of most American families.
Along with oil and gas and food.
Inflation is hurting everybody. And inflation is more complex. I can't say that I'm going to stop inflation overnight. What I can say is that I'm going to stop the long-term cause of inflation. I'm going to unravel a war machine. I'm going to reduce dramatically healthcare costs by ending the chronic disease.
Hey, it's your favorite comedian, Anthony Rogers, live in his tour bus, yeah. But also, you need to get a beard like this. People have been talking. They said your shit looks whack. It looks weird. They can't tell your pronouns. You need to get a beard like this right now. And the only way to do that is by using Luxurious Bastard Beard Oil. Great smell, great function, great everything. Just get this. And there's directions on how to use it if you know how to read. But use the link in the description. Go to the website. Use promo code LEGENDARY. Get a discount. Do it. Thank you. Bam. Welcome back to your favorite podcast in the entire universe. I'm Anthony Rogers. How you doing?
Hell yeah, bro.
Live from the Lake of the Ozarks. I'm in some weird office. I can't chain smoke weed, and I'm trying to figure out how to be normal in these offices. But no. We're live on a bunch of different things today too. I went live on Facebook and LinkedIn today too. I don't know what that does, but
whoa, do people still use LinkedIn?
I had like 10,000 people in there. I was like, I'm gonna go live on LinkedIn too.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that.
See if it does anything. We have like several people watching on Rumble already.
I didn't even know you could go live on LinkedIn. That's badass.
I had no idea. I just learned that today. So we're super live. We're quadruple live today. But no,
that's awesome.
The guest though, a very interesting guest. JT, he produced Tiger King, which is huge, probably one of the biggest documentaries of all time, probably. He also worked on a lot of shows I watched after I looked into it a little bit. He worked on I want to say he worked on Jerry Springer and Cheaters too, which is like huge shows. I mean, those are like probably some of the biggest shows that have literally ever existed. Like, I mean, Jerry Springer was a huge talk show. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, how many seasons did he? I mean, that went on for I feel like that went on for decades. That
was a big show. We'll have to ask him. That's why we got the source. We got the source here to ask him all the questions. JT Barnett, how you doing, brother?
Yo, what's up, y'all?
Not much.
So, great to see you, Anthony and Venus.
Pleasure, brother. Pleasure. So, did you worked on Jerry Springer also?
I worked with Jerry Springer. I worked on a few shows. I didn't work long term with Jerry, but that's something I did back in the day. Yeah, if you've seen that picture of me and Jerry,
I did.
I still have all this hair.
Nice.
But so that tells you it was a pretty good while ago. But yeah, I worked with Jerry Springer. I did a lot of reality projects. I worked. I helped create a TV show called Cheaters. With my mentor. That show? Yes, Bobby Goldstein's my mentor. He's the sole creator of the show. He put me on in the game. I actually was working for Bobby Goldstein when I'm not gonna tell you, but I was very young, fresh out of high school. And I, of course, didn't start out as a producer. I did, I earned my keep. I was a PA. I got coffee I got slapped around and shit, jokes played on me and
Right.
ran. And
You got initiated. Yeah.
yeah, I had to, you had to earn it back then, you know. And then I got,
Right.
I got moved up to assistant camera, and I remember way back in the day, it's like, this is a pretty technical thing. We shot this thing on like big digibetas, like E&G cameras, and I was assisting, and a lot of our team would, I'm a cannabis user, right? A lot of our team would smoke, so sometimes there'd be a little smoke session before we're going to go on a bus. It's exciting, you're going out, and
Nice.
I remember. I never did it before the show, and one day I'd come in and everybody's smoking in the parking lot, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hit the blunt a few times, and then I walk in, and my boss is like, JT, you're up on camera tonight. Homeboy didn't show up, and I'd never operated in my life. And I remember looking at, if you haven't seen an E&G camera, I'd be like, fuck, why did I smoke? But yeah, so
Oh my
Cheaters
God. Of
put
course,
me
the
on.
one time. Yeah.
I worked there. I produced for Bobby. I mean, this is actually Bobby's one of the original architects of reality television.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
we were shooting Cheaters in 1998. So other
Yeah.
than Survivor
That kind
or
of was the first like reality TV was like that, and like Jerry
Survivor,
Springer
I think
for
so. Yeah,
sure.
if you consider Jerry Springer and Cops is
Oh,
very
true.
much
Cops.
reality
Yeah,
TV.
I forgot about
Real,
that. I forgot
yeah,
about
Real
Cops. Yeah,
World was
that's
a little
right.
after that, I guess. Yeah, I guess Cops was even before Real World. Yeah, that's
Mm.
so. Were you on that episode? The guy got stabbed. Didn't the host get stabbed on Cheers?
I didn't. I worked on that episode. I wasn't. You don't see me.
Mm.
But
That's so
yeah, I mean,
fucked up.
you'll have to. That was the thing with Cheaters is people look at it and they're like, and it's like very, I hate to say exploitive, but like nobody wants to talk to the camera. When you catch them with your significant other in a public place and your marriage is fucked, we're like,
Right.
tell us how you feel.
Right. Right.
So that's why a lot of
Mhm.
times you'll see people, they got their face blurred out because, and sometimes I was a field producer for most of my time there. After I operated camera, I moved up. I'm a field producer. So I work with the
Yeah.
investigator. I go in the field. I make shit happen, right? And half the time was taking per diem money and buying motherfuckers 3 or 4 shots of reposado. So then we could be like, all right, bro, sign the release. I know your marriage is fucked now and everything, but
Here, sign your soul away right here with blood. Okay. Fuck,
that's
that's fucking
But yeah,
dark,
I
man.
did Cheaters for a long time. I left for a little
Yeah.
while. I left, I don't know, in '09, or Cheaters was syndicated at the time in 200 markets internationally. So
Mm.
this is a program that's grossed over $1 billion. Not for me. I still hustle every month. I'm a normal guy,
Yeah.
right? But that's actually kind of what led me to shooting with Joe. Because I don't know, in 2010, at the time, it cost, whatever, hundreds of thousands to shoot a season of a program. And back then, and when we were
Yeah.
syndicated in 200 markets, like, bro, that's like 30 million in commercial revenue a season. And when I was
Wow.
a lot younger man, I was like, man, I need my own shit that cost a couple $100,000 that makes millions.
Yeah.
So I kind of ventured out on my own for a couple years, and I found out that's not so easy. But during that time, I got hired by Jason. I worked with Good Clean Fun. This is Jason Carbone's company. He created The Bachelor. They actually,
Mm.
Jason Carbone and Joe Exotic and myself created the original Tiger King series. We
Oh,
shot the
nice.
pilot in 2013.
Wow, that's awesome. Holy shit.
We shot a sizzle reel. It sold into a pilot with A&E, and then Saf had their arm ripped off while we were on the 3rd day of the pilot.
Oh my God. Jesus.
So
Yeah, I remember seeing that in the documentary on Netflix. Like, what are you talking about with the tiger, right?
yeah,
Oh my
she was
God.
sticking her arm in the cage and shit with and there was animals that, don't get me wrong, Joe's a G. Like when the first day at the zoo, Joe used to have a big yard around his house, right? And I remember they're walking me up. We're gonna go in. We're gonna have dinner at the house. And you get to the gate, and I look across the yard, and there's a big ass fucking tiger in there, and the front door's about 10 feet away. And so I was like, whoa, I have to cross the tiger yard to go in. And he's like, oh no, it's cool. And I remember in my head, before I didn't know anything about tigers at the time, and I've learned a lot since then. This was the first day there. And I remember thinking, well, he's 50 feet away. I can take 8 steps and make it in the door. And he opened the gate and shut the gate. And I turned around, and the tiger was right there in my face.
Oh my God.
And I never heard it. And he started chuffing, right? And this is actually, they kind of huff. right? It's kind of like it's a purr. They actually means they like you, right? It's a
Mm,
friendly sound they make.
okay.
And he started chuffing at me, but it's kind of like when a 400-pound tiger purrs, it sounds a lot like a growl. So it's like in my face and he's growling. And I remember Joe was like, "Oh, he likes you. You want to pet
Yeah,
him?"
you're like, oh my God.
And I was literally like, "No, I want to go in the front door, please."
Like having a panic attack.
So yeah, but I actually learned a lot. You know, Joe took really good care of his animals. He's been attacked by the radical animal rights people forever, and you know,
Yeah.
Carol, and we won't talk a lot about Carol because you know, it's talking about Carol's like talking about one of the Clintons. You might end up having an accident. So, um, but
So what was shooting that show like? Was it just everybody was like just partying all? It seemed like those guys just partied a lot, man. Like they're just like,
yeah, they really take it out of context because we shot a reality show, and don't get me wrong, the copy, and that's Joe's IP. Joe had fucking Tiger King underwear and lotion, and
Right,
in like
right.
2011, right? And so he shooting it like it was very, people don't realize like Joe worked hard. There's 1,000 exotic animals there. When I was
Yeah.
there, 220, 240 big cats. So Joe's going to
Wow.
bed after midnight. He's up before 4 or 5 a.m. and he's only down 4 hours every day. And the rest of the day is spent taking care of these animals, right? They need
Wow.
cleaning, they need feeding, they need enrichment. A lot of people look at them, you see them, they're in some smaller cages like the shithole Carol Baskin had in Tampa, right? Her little shithole. Like, look at it on the shit and then compare it to Joe's place. Joe also had big acreage areas with lagoons, and what they would regularly do. You've seen the clip when the tiger drags him after the con artists had sprayed the shit on his boots, right?
Right,
But
right.
but they would shift like the tigers. They would regularly you shift 5 to 10 tigers into the big acreage, so they play in the
Right.
lagoon
So that
area.
they would have a chance. Yeah, I remember seeing that in the documentary. Like there was a bigger like kind of hangout area, and I remember
Yeah,
seeing Joe like
there
in
was
there kind
2.
of like, kind of playing with them actually.
Joe did play with them, and that's the thing. They were all his babies, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, uh, you can't like people abuse dogs or say Joe's an animal abuser, right? But these are fucking tigers. Like
Yeah.
you can't abuse a fucking tiger because you know what? In 2 years, he's about 400 or 500 pounds, and he's like, "Oh, hey, bro, you remember me?" So it's not like a dog, Um,
Yeah.
you can't
Right,
abuse
right.
tigers. Like they remember that shit. They're some of the smartest animals I've ever been around.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It looks like there's a lot of partying, but there really wasn't. Joe had a lot of fun, but at the same time, there's a lot of people that work there. And so it's a big operation. People didn't realize like that, and he didn't get rich doing it. I think it cost
Mhm.
when we were shooting at $1 million a year just to run the zoo, right? Because you think
Yeah.
about tigers eat their body weight in meat, you know, weekly. So you're talking about a 500-pound tiger needs 500 pounds of T-bone steak every
Wow.
week.
That's
That's
a
that's
lot.
that's a lot. So, but it was
Yeah.
great shooting the show. It was great. It was great until Saf was sticking her arm in the cage with random rescued tigers and lost it. And shout out to Joe. Joe saved Saf's life that day. People make the joke about Joe throwing on his paramedic jacket. I've seen the memes from Tiger. It says the drip takes no backseat, right? Joe threw on the paramedic jacket before he went to save her. But that wasn't the case. It's the way they cut it. He used to wear the paramedic jacket
But that's
because
like
he was
all.
trained.
You agree that that's kind of like all reality TV is like, right? They cut it to make it look more to fit
Oh,
the
it's
script or
completely
whatever they're trying to
yeah,
make
it's
it look
heavily
like.
produced. It's
Yeah.
heavily produced. All these people watch. My girlfriend watches a bunch of, and I can't
Yeah.
watch these. I can't watch dating shows or any of it. It's just like I'm like it's fucking fake,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I haven't watched television since I was like a little kid. Like, I definitely watched Tiger King because it was like on during that entire time when the world was fake ending and I got tired of playing video games. So
Yeah.
it was like yeah, but I definitely watched that show and shit. I definitely watched Cheaters as a kid, but I'm like old now. I mean, I definitely don't. I don't even watch. I can't even watch TV. Really, it's just boring. Like to me, it's like I'm like almost 40. I'm just like I can't even. Like my little sister's like boyfriend is always like, "What TV shows do you watch?" I'm like nothing. Like I can't even. I'm like I watch sports. I guess I don't know. It's like I can't even. No, I think Tiger King is probably one of the most watched shows on earth, though. I mean, like,
Yeah,
that,
it's the most successful documentary in Netflix's history.
Wow, that's wild.
You know, there was 160 million views
Mm.
within the first month alone, 6 Emmy nominations. Um,
Oh,
and so, and they do get a lot of they get a lot of things wrong. You know, they thought they were making the Blackfish of Big Cat films. They thought they were going to bash Joe, and what they didn't realize is Joe's so entertaining and so personable and wears his heart on his sleeve that they really
yeah.
just onboarded millions of fans for him. Like,
Right, right.
so I
But
do
why do you
applaud
think they were trying to make him look bad? Just for
because
dramatic effect,
they're
or
not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
no? Go ahead.
They're aligned with radical animal rights groups, and
Mhm.
there's groups in this country right now that are taking away your rights. They did it to everybody that's connected to Tiger King is either in the feds or dead or fighting a federal
What?
case or shut
I
down.
heard about that. Did who
Except
was
for
the
Carol,
guy
of
that
course.
he was? Oh man,
Oh
there
no,
was
no,
this
Mario, the
guy
guy
who
they
went to
based
visit.
Scarface on, he's still good. He's got a place in Florida.
Yeah.
But pretty much everybody in the series they shut them down, and
Whoa.
what's crazy is a lot of the message that Joe was preaching in 2013 was he was telling them we have to band together. They're
Yeah.
gonna, you know, they're coming after us individually, and
Yeah.
they all had this huge competitive thing because that's all the thing was with Carol. Like she
Yeah.
does the same exact thing Joe did, exactly the same thing, and it was more like you know a hip hop battle. It's a rap battle, so you diss it,
Right.
we
Right.
sell records, so they diss each other so they can raise money for their sanctuaries, and that's
Hmm.
really all that was. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like you know, if you're gonna hurt somebody or you're gonna do something, like you don't talk about this online. You don't go send messages, and people take this WWE wrestling style character of Joe, and then they use it against him in this you know fucked up weaponized justice system.
Yeah.
But you know,
Right.
he's basically a political prisoner for the Big Cat Safety Act.
Wow.
Which is Carol Baskin's bill that's co-authored by Kamala Harris, you know, who has locked up more people than anybody in fucking history, I think. Um,
Is that really? Is it true?
I don't know.
she's locked
That's
up a
me
lot
Are
of
you just
people.
exaggerating.
saying that? I was like, holy
Her
shit.
and Biden have locked up so many motherfuckers and
Oh
people.
well.
It's just like, but you know, I'm not going to get
Yeah.
too political.
Hi, Anthony. It's
Yeah.
Frankie
I
Dillon.
mean,
Things are
we
going great
can if
so
you
far.
want. I don't give a fuck.
Hi.
Like, hi, Frankie. What's up, bro?
What up, Frankie?
I'm doing great so far. It's cooler in Sydney, Nova Scotia right now to get an intense hurricane headed towards Jamaica on Wednesday.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's awesome. A hurricane's in somebody.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
think he
bro.
said
gonna
there's
That's
a
bring-
hurricane
awesome, dude.
coming.
It's aiming it towards Jamaica Wednesday. They get
Fuck
a bad
yeah,
heat
bro.
wave heading for Portland, Oregon on Friday.
Where are you out of, JT?
I'm in Dallas right now. I got a place in Dallas. I
What's the
live
weather
LA.
like in Dallas this week, Frankie?
Do what?
What's the weather like in Dallas this week, Frankie?
In Dallas, it's really, really hot there right now.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
got really hot weather in Dallas right now. And did you hear about this? Then they got a big heat wave hitting for Portland, Oregon starting on Friday. They got a hurricane barrel aiming towards Jamaica tomorrow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, God turned the heater on out here and forgot to put the oven on and forgot to turn it off.
Then they got a
He
hurricane
went to
aiming
heat the oven
towards
up and then
Jamaica
left it
tomorrow.
on.
Have you ever seen Tiger King, Frankie? Have you ever seen the show Tiger King, Frankie?
I seen parts of it a long time ago.
JT made Tiger King.
I was a big part of that. You know, Joe made
Yeah.
Tiger King. I don't want to claim. Joe and I helped create the IP.
Yeah.
And then they basically licensed reality TV footage for a reality show and then put that into a documentary. And then the people they put on the documentary are also the same, they're confidential informants. That's why the con artist and the rat, they're able to go around and scam and do all this stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, they literally, so when you're watching that show, you know, you can't believe, you know, what you're hearing, but there are a few good things Tiger King gets right. And about the main facts that are wonderful is you clearly see how Joe was set up, right?
Yeah.
Clearly, anybody who's watched it, especially into season 2, even the people recanted what they said in season 1. And then
Right. Yeah, I saw those videos. They're like, actually, I lied.
yeah,
Like, what? Come again?
I know, and this was 2 years ago. So think about all the tens of millions of people that have seen this, and this is
Yeah.
our justice system. This is how it is. We don't have a justice system in America. We have a
Yeah.
money system, and it
Right.
preys on the impoverished, or the people who aren't connected. You know,
Absolutely.
black, brown people, poor white people, everybody. And if you don't know who to pay and you don't have the money to pay, well, you know, it's like fuck you.
Yeah, they made it illegal to be homeless recently. So then if you're
saw
living
that.
on the street, they can not only throw you in jail, but then you'd have to get out, you'd have to bail yourself out or like not be homeless. And like you get like a fine essentially for being homeless and having no money. That just kind of blew my mind. Like
That's crazy.
I'm like, how is this like how is that okay? You know what I mean? So many people. I was watching. There's this channel that goes and follows homeless people. Like I feel really like I work with a nonprofit that's helping like with the homeless issue, and there's this YouTube channel, and they were interviewing a family. Like it was like a mother and like a child that were living on Skid Row, and the kid was like 10 years old. So many people are becoming homeless because of the fucking inflammation. Inflation.
And did you hear about this? I first heard about Tiger King in March 2020.
Yep.
That's when
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Peak
That's
COVID.
before the whole world went into lockdown the second half of March 2020. That's before the whole planet got shut down.
Yep. In
Yeah,
fact,
during COVID. Yep.
actually, the words Tiger King are the second most Googled term of 2020
Oh,
on the entire planet.
Wow.
And we know what the first was: COVID-19.
Back in the end of March 2020 and April 2020, when the whole world got shut down, clowns, trolls, haters got way worse and more aggressive because the whole world's in lockdown.
Yeah, but at least we had
people
Joe
just got more
Exotic to bring us
negative.
together. You know,
Right.
we had the
Once
Tiger
again, in
King.
late March,
I must say.
once again, in late March and April 2020, the whole world was shut down. Clowns, trolls, and haters and internet scammers got way worse than ever before.
Wow. I didn't know that.
They want to know
Scammers?
they want to know what
I
everybody's
can see
opinions
that.
are on the debate. Dustin wants
Frankie,
to know
what'd
everybody's
you-
opinions on the debate.
Frankie
Yeah,
first.
can we talk about it? Let's talk about
Yeah,
this.
Frankie,
What's your take on the debate?
That means it's going to be ultra close call.
You think it's going to be ultra close call, like between the two? Who do you think did better?
Don't know.
Well,
He's
we
like,
had
I'm
the
not going to
stutterer
say
in
live
charge,
on.
right? And then my take on the debate. I didn't watch it live. We got invited into Joe's had some support, some Alex Jones, so we tapped in and watched it with InfoWars.
Oh, you guys watched it with Alex Jones? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he did it live on his space. Y'all should go check out. He's got a great space on X. You know, that's one great thing about, you know, Rumble's a wonderful platform, right?
Yeah.
It's free from censorship, and so is X. So yeah, I tapped in on X and I watched it with InfoWars. And
I found it on Compound Media and Censor TV, two companies are merging. Compound Media Network and Censor TV Network, they're going to merge, like Anthony Cumia Network and Gavin McGinnis Network. Both of them are going to merge.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, layman's don't know that. I mean, what is there? 6 companies that own all the media on the planet, and they run and they have an agenda. All your news stations, all you know. Harvey Levin's a good friend of mine. We done some work with the HM and TMZ, and Harvey's actually it used to be celebrity gossip news decades ago, right? But they do some really good pieces these days. People don't realize the power of TMZ. If anything we did with Joe for the last 4 years, if it hits the front page of TMZ, it's on every Fox affiliate in the nation within minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, you know, I think we all know I think we all know what we thought about the debate. It may be very uncomfortable, and if you're, and not to bash anybody, but like, you know, like, what's, you know, actually, I got to tell you who the best candidate for president is Joe Exotic. in 2024.
You know, I
we need to
honestly,
vote
I would
Joe
vote for
Exotic.
him. I would fucking vote for him, honestly. Like the thing is like I do think Trump is a better president, but there are aspects about him I'm not super thrilled about. They're also both too old. I think they're both
Yeah,
too old to be
it's
doing it. Their
it's like
ideas and morals are outdated. Like
which 82-year-old rich white man do you want to run the country?
right,
They're both different. They're different. They're different, but you know they both just look the same. But not to bash, not to get too heavy. But yeah, we're on the
true
FEC
though.
commission. Joe is a
Yeah.
write-in candidate in over half the country. Right, you can go write in Joe Exotic on the ticket. We
Nice.
did it. Honestly, it was a marketing ploy. Joe's trying to bring awareness to his false incarceration and plight.
Right,
And,
right.
and it's this marketing ploy we did last spring. And I oversee a lot of the, I see the social, and we have a social team, but I see everything. And
Yeah.
and honestly, like I knew it was a marketing ploy, and I didn't, but I was kind of, it really like let my heart down. Like when I saw the thousands of people suddenly that instantly were like, if that's not indicative of where we are as a country politically right now, that my friend and the gay gun carrying polygamous redneck with 200 tigers that's falsely imprisoned for trying to kill the crazy cat lady is a better option.
Right.
I'm like, whoa, what the fuck is going on right now? But free Joe Exotic and vote Joe Exotic, so
Yeah. Definitely. I agree with you 100%. It is wild time. I mean, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're talking. I just literally.
No.
I was gonna say we should switch out Joe Exotic for Joe Biden. Put Biden in jail, Exotic in the White House. That's where.
That'd be perfect. That's the perfect swap. Biden wouldn't even know where he was. He would just still think he's in the White House, I'm sure.
Someone said me and Frankie should run Rogers McDonald 2024. That's what they're saying there.
And guess what? They got a bad heat. First, they got a hurricane hit for Jamaica for Wednesday. Hurricane Beryl to aim towards Jamaica Wednesday. Then they got a major heat wave for Portland, Oregon on Friday.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. Love those hurricanes.
That's what I'm saying. I heard Carol Bass is the new caretaker for Biden. I wish.
Well, that's not looking good for him. We've seen how she takes care of her people.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
Brandon's like, I'd vote for him. Frankie should be, I'll be your vice president, Frankie. If you run for office, like we gotta fake your citizenship because you're Canadian, but we gotta
right.
pretend we gotta fake your citizenship. I'll be your VP, dog.
And did you hear about this? Yesterday on Canada Day, I was watching a concert at Centre 200 in Sydney, Nova Scotia. It went great. I was watching a concert at Centre 200 last night. After that, I went to Capri Club in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Damn. You should be on the third Tiger King. You should be on. They should get Frankie on the third
Tiger
season.
King coming.
Is there?
We don't talk about that. Yeah, we have. We've been filming nonstop. And that's what people don't really realize. Netflix licensed the content. Royal Good, put out the series, 2 seasons. But those that's long expired. And Joe holds the trademark. We have 8 terabytes of archival footage. We've actually been shooting a lot of new footage,
Nice.
which I can't disclose in this public place. But
if you want to follow me on if you want to follow me on social media, my Blue Sky's at Frankie MacD, my Twitter's at Frankie MacD, my Facebook is Frankie MacDonald, my Linktree is Frankie MacDonald, my Instagram is Frankie MacD94, my TikTok is FrankieDon94, my Clapper is FrankieDon94, my Twitch is FrankieDon94, my Snapchat is Frankie AMCD1, my YouTube channel is Dog Wolf, my link is Frankie Donald. Best luck to you. I'm Frankie Donald. You're listening to Anthony Rogers shows.
Oh, bye.
I love how
He's ruthless.
I like how Frankie cut his promo in a Tiger King 3 exclusive.
Totally
we
cut you
literally
off.
have an exclusive with the producer for Tiger King right now, talking about the 3rd season coming out. Like, huge story. Frankie comes in and lists every social media he's ever joined.
Yeah,
totally
at Frankie
you
D,
off.
if y'all missed it. And he's not special. He's just trolling right now.
Dude, in the middle of a Tiger King 3 exclusive, drops every social media.
Right.
Let's get back to the point, though, JT. Sorry about that. I was trying to get him on to do the weather and stuff. But what I want to hear, Tiger King 3, I want to hear about that. So what's going on? What's going on with that?
So yeah, so everybody really is concerned with, there's other people that are related to Tiger King that just aren't relevant anymore. They never were. They're career con men that are on a reality show from 4 years ago. So every distributor I've talked to, and I've talked to most of the major distributors and a lot of people, and everybody wants new footage of Joe. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Joe. And the prison keeps him locked down. They won't let him communicate. They won't let but you're going to hear from Joe. There is a lot of new stuff with Joe, and it's going to talk about this journey and this fucked up case and this justice system in this country. So we have a docuseries. We're working on a one-off documentary as well with a partner in LA. That's great. And then we also have a scripted film that we're doing all with one big firm. So there's about to be a ton of new Tiger King content. Hopefully, as everybody write your politicians, free Joe Exotic. He needs to be, he's got a clemency application in now. He don't even want a pardon anymore. Like he's already done 7 years for a crime he didn't commit, but he just needs to come home. So hopefully for the feature film, we have Joe Exotic himself to play himself, but if not, there's a lot of other great people in there. So
if you need a balding fat ginger, I'm available.
Sweet, we got a role for that. There's a role for that.
Perfect.
You and your co-host. There's a whole role for that.
Or a porn star, a funny porn star.
The funny porn star and the ginger. Like this is the Tiger King aesthetic.
Right.
Brandon's asking, will the third season be on Netflix?
Unfortunately, I can't reveal the distributor. But it's going to be on a major platform. You'll definitely see it. We would like to do it with Netflix. Netflix, when they came to Joe years ago, and to me, it was more like, hey, we're shooting a show about big cat owners, and Joe Exotic might be in an episode. Would you be interested in talking to us and showing us some clips and stuff? And then obviously I remember, because if you watch the original trailer to Tiger King, the original one, right? 60 to 70% of everything there, I either produced or personally shot. And it was from the original TV movie we did back in 2013. And I remember them telling me, oh, it may be about Joe. And I was in Times Square working in January 2020. I was in New York working, and I was in Times Square. And don't ask, I know nobody goes to Times Square, right? But I forget why I had been stuck in Times Square. When you live there or work there, you're just like, fuck, right?
Yeah, right.
I was in Times Square, and there was a Tiger King Netflix takeover, and it was playing. The trailer, 60 to 70% of the stuff I shot with Joe, and then they named it. If you go look at our TV movie on IMDb, the name of the original show we shot was Joe Exotic, the Tiger King. Yeah. And so I was in Times Square, and I don't know what the advertisement cost, but it was playing on every screen. And I was like, and so I immediately called one of the producers and was like, you bitch. Like, you told me this might be about Joe. I said, and I'm in Times Square. And first of all, I don't know what the fuck it costs to play this on every screen. Whoa. But second of all, you even named it the same thing as our fucking pilot.
Isn't that illegal?
I mean, they there's a lot of stuff involved with that. They got Joe to sign a thing while he was under duress and he was fighting for his life. Yeah. And then we did it. Then they did a deal for season 2, but they gave Joe not even pennies on the dollar. It would be like some pennies on what they made. They threw him a few bucks for season 1 and season 2, but in both of those instances, his ex-husband ran off with the money.
Right, that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
So it was his ex-husband that was it his ex-husband that sold
his clothes. He sold his clothes
and the content.
He signed the deal. He took the money. He sold his own clothes. If that doesn't tell you anything, he sold this man's clothes. Like
that's so crackhead.
He was a crackhead. Really is. He came to the zoo with a shirt on his back, right, with nothing, just some gay little escort crackhead. Right. and then he had nothing. Joe went to jail, and 2 years later they got divorced, right? And in the divorce, you have to declare your assets. And this little loser had $2.8 million worth of assets he declared in the divorce. And I was just like, what? And it's obviously he's one of the benefactors of Tiger King. I see Dustin. He
Yeah, how
Joe
long
is
did
in
you
Joe got a 22-year sentence. He's still looking at he's looking at like a 2036 release date, and he's already been there 7 years. Like, and this is based off a conspiracy to kill Carol Baskin and the alleged
Yeah.
hitman in that case. If you guys watch season 2, he clearly sits down, signs the affidavit, and says, "No, I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to kill. We weren't
Right.
trying to
Right.
kill Carol Baskin. The plan was actually to kill Joe because he's the con man's little homie from prison that did his dirty work,
Right.
right? So the original plan was to get Joe, transfer the zoo into his name, and then they were going to off him. But instead, because they work for the feds, there's confidential informants. The FBI in 2022 spent about, maybe people don't know this number, the FBI 2 years ago spent about $2 billion a year, just $2 billion, just paying confidential informants.
Whoa.
So if you think about all the rats and con artists that are affording 6-figure lifestyles all over this country, and all they do is go set people up and so.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
everybody was
insane.
paid
Holy
that
shit.
testified against Joe,
Right.
except for his ex-husband, the gummy, the toothless fucker. That's not gay, but he sucked dick and took it in the ass for 10 years.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah. No. So wait, who's the guy who also had a zoo, but he would like have the tigers in the suitcases and like have hot chicks come? Like, what was
That's
his
the
deal?
con artist.
He was also an
That's the
informant,
con
right?
artist. He's
Okay.
the guy. He's a confidential informant. He's a
Okay.
rat for real, and that's why he
Yeah.
didn't testify in Joe's case. But his
And he didn't
escort
get in
wife,
trouble or anything.
he pimps his
'Cause
wife out. She's on OnlyFans. You can go check out their OnlyFans if you want to, or I'm sure you
No,
can.
thanks.
I'm sure you can smash. She probably ain't even. I don't even know. Is that $1,000? You want to go smash? Maybe, I don't know. Check out the OnlyFans. Subscribe to it. That's what they're doing with their lives these days. But no, he set Joe up.
Oh.
And he does, and outside of that, he has a whole history. They defrauded. He sold a bunch of fake Prince memorabilia. He tried to align himself with Evel Knievel, and so he's just kind of an old. He's got like the built. He's built like a frog, right? He's got like the belly and no legs, and wears the fucking skull cap all the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wears the bandana and the hat. But yeah, this man set Joe up. Took him for a ride, had this fucking,
Wow.
rented Ferrari and leased mansion.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
brought Joe to, and Joe, said, "I'm going to save you, bro. I got all this money." It turns out he didn't have a bunch of money. He had a bunch of cons and problems. So,
Wow.
yep.
That's
He
wild.
set Joe up, got him to put the zoo in his name, and then instead of trying to kill him like they planned to do with his homeboy, they ended up just giving him to the feds.
Wow.
And then, what's even worse than all of that? Like, it was, to me, like, it's like killing off the animals. Like, if you go look on TMZ, you go look on, you want to know what happened to Joe's tigers? When Joe had his big cats, they were fat, they were happy. You go look at the USDA, he never got written up. People will say all this shit, but and Joe used to tell me, like, it's a tiger, bro. Like, a fat tiger is a happy tiger. Like, the USDA constantly got written up. And he explained it like it's a tiger. So, you want to make sure he's well fed.
Yeah, right.
But then they starved those animals in the year that Carol Baskin let Jeff move in and take over Joe's zoo.
Oh, that's what I heard. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And her situation is even crazier. The same federal judge who brought all these civil actions against Joe and other people he presided over $1 million judgment against Joe Exotic from Carol Baskin. And then this same federal judge is the one who then presided over Joe's criminal trial. The judge
wow.
And like, if that's, I mean, it's not that it's biased. It's like, that's what's broken in this country.
Yeah.
Federal judges are like God, and they're there for life. So, and in the federal system, it's very different. Like, you get people are convicted. There's tens of thousands of people locked away right now for hearsay or ghost notes or people
Yep.
doing all this time and never got caught with drugs. And
Yeah.
and it just goes back to the point I said, like it's it's you can see it being a weaponized justice system if you look at what's
For
going
sure.
on politically in the country right now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. That's the biggest proof we have of how incredibly corrupt that system is.
yep.
Like, I mean, there's so many other examples, but like that was a next level, like a move in the wrong direction. That is like the evolution of our, like, rights being slowly taken from us, and the Constitution just not really meaning anything anymore.
Right. Well, I mean, that's because Joe really is, at the end of the day, a true red-blooded American.
Yeah.
If you want to be gay and you want to have 2 husbands and you want to carry a gun everywhere and you want to buy a tiger, you should be able to do that as an American. These as America.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that should be
able
the
to do those
slogan for
things.
America. That little thing you just said. Because it's true. You should be able to do all those things. That's the whole fucking point, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here if we can't fucking do whatever the
That's
fuck
what
we
they
want?
did, though. They call pet cubbing. They call cub petting abuse, and this is what the Big Cat Safety Act is about, and this is what Carol's whole thing is about. But
It's
for
not petting
me,
the
like I took
cat?
my son. He was raised around baby tigers, right? I knew Joe for years, and for me and other kids, like there's nowhere they can go do this. This gets them interested in the wildlife. They care about this animal that's been poached into extinction, but they ended up labeling that, as abuse, right?
Yeah.
That's abuse. And then they've locked Joe away for it now, and so basically he's locked up because he let people pet baby tigers, and so you can't own a baby tiger. That's the other thing about the Big Cat Safety Act, Kamala Harris's crazy fucked up bill, is that it gives Carol Baskin a monopoly on big cat ownership in the U.S. If you want a tiger these days, if you want a sanctuary, you have to go get licensed by the Global Federation of Animal Sanctuaries per this bill, which is Carol's organization.
Oh, holy shit.
So
Wow. That's fucking crazy. Holy shit.
But yeah, don't get me on my soapbox.
Really good, like law and stuff. Like they really understand the law really well. It seems like
I don't think it's they understand. It's, again, I think the judicial system, the political system, it's very much just like the justice system. It's a money system.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure because that was the 2 good facts that came out of Tiger King, as much as they get wrong. The 2 good facts are Joe was set up and Carol killed her husband. Right?
Yeah.
And
The 2
these are
biggest
fucking
takeaways.
facts. Like, go watch the show. People want to argue. She wants to like, bro, go watch the 2 seasons. In fact, there was a lot more really great stuff, which you'll see in the new series coming out, related to the pardon and everything else. They made a joke out of my friend Eric Love, who petitioned for the pardon. We wrapped the bus. We went on the road. Fox, TMZ, HM did a big President Trump pardon Joe. We had a big push, and while we had that push that year, what was we were talking, Leah. Yeah, she killed her husband, definitely. I got distracted in the comments, and
someone recently said they found him.
We mentioned no, I think
no.
what confused Dustin. We mentioned her. I said her and her husband are good at law, but she remarried, is like what I think the confusion was.
She remarried. Oh, that's true. Right.
She's with the cuck now. That she walks around on the leash or whatever.
He seems like a cuck. I thought he was. He seems like a cuck.
When you're with a
Cuck
chick
vibes.
that chopped up her husband, you gonna give her any flack? You're like, baby, you need the dishes done. Do I need to
No,
fold
he
this
really
stuff
is,
perfectly?
You could tell she wears the pants in that relationship for sure. He's the one getting pegged for sure.
Yes. Yeah, no, so she sued Netflix over her portrayal in season 1, which obviously it's her own fault. Like, you're the dumb bitch that fucking said all this. They didn't even cut you up weird. They just like put what you said up there. They're like, if you wanted to have a tiger eat somebody, you should cover him in sardine oil.
Yeah, why? Yeah.
You thought about tigers.
Okay, go on. I'm taking notes.
But so she sued Netflix for her portrayal in the series. And they had 3 or 4 episodes that were really all about Joe and the journey. And then Netflix was like, okay, bitch, you want to sue us? They doubled down. They made 3 or 4 episodes specifically about how she did kill her husband for season 2.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Absolutely. She did it to herself.
I'm just picturing her husband being a cock. That's just funny to me. Yeah, I'm still stuck on that.
He's probably scared he's gonna get murdered.
Yeah, I'm just scared too.
Whatever you
They
say,
didn't use
like,
her. They didn't
don't
find
kill
her
me.
husband. That was reported by one paid news outlet, and it was reported by her. And she claims she got a letter from Homeland Security in the late night or whatever after his disappearance, right? They even had a picture of this letter from Homeland Security. Well, I don't know if people know, but DHS was formed after 9/11. You fucking idiots. So
oh my God.
Just the, and not only that, if he was alive, like, you owe this man back his $10 million or however much you inherited.
Right.
And that was the big thing for me. Like, I thought for sure this program has shown how she clearly is a gangster. She's the biggest gangster in Tiger King. And we talked a lot about her. She's listening. I have no problems. We want no problems. I don't need to get asphyxiated in my car or fall off a balcony or something accidentally.
Plus her husband or her brother is a police officer, right?
He's the sheriff over the county where her husband disappeared.
Oh,
and
right.
The night her husband disappeared, picked her up on the side of the road in a minivan at 2 a.m. because her car broke down and took her home. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah. Something's not adding up.
I said earlier, it's like talking about Hillary, and I don't want to talk about Hillary. I don't want to talk. So we're not going to talk about Carol Baskins anymore. I don't want no beef. Joe forgave her. Joe don't care. Like, she's still hammering Joe to this day, bro. We still get attacked by. She's employed hackers and bots and trolls for over a decade. Even as much as one way we've been raising money for legal is with a Solana meme coin. Joe's got the T-King coin on Solana, right? And we launched this crypto about a month ago, and we immediately got hacked. And they were changing the deck screener where when you went to go look at our crypto, it led to Carol Baskin shit. And I'm thinking, like, this is like a decade ago. Like, bitch, what are you doing? Like, you've taken a zoo, you've taken everything. Also, the system fucked him on the zoo because Joe's big deal was when she got the $1 million judgment against him, he was like, you know what? I'm going to fight it. But at the end of the day, the zoo makes $1 million a year. It's a multi-million-dollar property. If she wants to take care of all these fucking tigers, I'm going to do that. She can have it.
Yeah.
And he offered her the zoo. She never wanted to help take care of the animals. She never did shit for the animals. But what she did do is let Jeff Lowe move into it for a year, tear the shit up, help kill off the animals. And then she had it rezoned so it could never be a zoo again. So Joe gave her an asset worth multi-millions of dollars. And then she tore it up for a year and then had it rezoned and had it evaluated as $100,000 piece of land and credited Joe, the federal system, the same judge, the same corrupt, homophobic, 82-year-old guy that doesn't be on the bench. Right. So it's crazy how.
So she did that out of spite. She was willing to take an L.
Well, I mean, you know what though? Can you imagine? That's what I told Joe. Like when this first happened, like, it's horrible. Joe's never seen his popularity or his fame. Joe, don't get me wrong. Joe had thousands of fans back in the day when I was shooting stuff with him, right? And we would do a lot of things, but he hasn't seen the millions and all the support because he's been locked away since he became famous. So I used to tell him though, when he first got locked up, I said, well, I don't know. I guess there's three things, and there's no positives out of any of this, but there's three good things, out of this. And one, Joe, you always, we had a TV show. We were working the big reality show with A&E. You wanted to be famous. Well, you're world fucking famous now. You're a household name all over the world. I promise you. Right?
Yeah.
I said, and two, you hate this evil bitch who's tried to ruin your life. Well, guess what? The entire world hates Carol fucking Baskin. And she's become the new Karen. Like, it's like an offensive term, right? So can you imagine where she goes? I mean, because his slogan, I can't imagine. Maybe this lady goes out and people are just like, fuck Carol Baskins everywhere, right?
I could definitely
she's the villain
see that
in the series.
That's hilarious.
So the 2 points that were good about that, and then what else? Oh, the third point I said, well, Joe's completely gay. He doesn't swing any other way. So I said, well, Joe, you're locked up with 1,500 men who are all in shape.
Oh my god!
So try to find the positives here.
That's funny.
Wasn't there like didn't you go to Florida for some sort of court thing?
yeah.
Like what was that? How did that turn out? Like
Joe
what was
won the rights to his music back. We went to Pensacola for
That's awesome.
the civil trial.
Yeah.
And people always say this isn't Joe. Well, Joe is singing on those songs. There are other people too, but when you
Yeah.
make music, you use a multitude of people and musicians. And Joe actually had worked with some musicians and guys that we paid, and he paid them actually a lot of money. Like I didn't know until I went to the civil trial and I saw the transcripts, but they paid him almost $40,000 to do the music for these songs.
Right.
And then these contracts transferred all the rights to Joe. And then soon as Joe was locked up, this musician tried to come back out and say he created these songs and owned 100% of the rights. Well, first of all, like, bro, you're the broke musician from Seattle. We already gave you 40 grand 4 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
you weren't even worth it. Like, and then now you're telling me you created a song about Killer Carol or about I Saw a Tiger. Oh, you wrote those lyrics? Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
But we won in federal court. It took a long legal battle. John Phillips did a good job. So we went down there. There was a nice little protest at the Capitol. There's only about 25 or 30 people out there. But you know what? There was 8 national news media stations from every surrounding state. And we're getting ready for a new protest. We're getting ready for a new protest. This time we're going to bring out some musicians. We have a lot of support from, we have, Senator Rubio has a congressional inquiry into Joe's case right now. And then there's a lot of other, there's a couple Congress people and senators who support us. I'm not going to name them right now, but when we go set up to do our deal in DC, they're going to come support. So we're working on a new protest, trying to bring awareness to this, and because this could happen to any of us. This could happen to anybody.
You're right. Absolutely. And I feel like it does happen to the everyday person. When I feel like when people start gaining more influence, that's when they become dangerous, especially if they have quote unquote radical ideas, or they question the paradigm of the fucking bullshit sandwich of fucking what we're supposed to believe reality is, or like this false like perception of our freedom. That's just like, I feel like I'm just being fucking gaslit. Like, like
absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's how that interview was kind of like I was saying before we got on here. That interview was kind of rough because like I went into it being like, oh yeah, we got Joe Exotic from one of the biggest shows of all time. I'm all hyped about it. And then I hear him and I'm just like, man, this guy, I didn't know a lot of the stuff that was like that he was saying. And I'm like, man, this guy's been in a cage for 7 years. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like to me, that was just like, I was
7 years for a conspiracy to kill somebody based off the testimony of 5 confidential informants. And actually, you know what happened is the federal system is engineered. They want to keep their 99% conviction rate. So they only have that conviction rate because if the feds get you, you're going to cop. You're going to plead guilty, right? And anybody that doesn't, just like we saw with Trump, or just like you saw with Joe pled not guilty to the conspiracy to kill Carol Baskin. So they're like, oh, well, here's 34 more wildlife federal charges. They throw the book at you then, right? And and they actually use charges. They added what messed with Joe is they added generic tigers to the endangered list. And so what happened with Joe, there was 5 sick older tigers had problems, with their feet that had been at the sanctuary. And the USDA directed Joe to put these tigers down, right? And then a year later, the feds charged Joe with taking an endangered animal, which is a law that's supposed to keep you from like hunting bald eagles in the wild.
Right.
So yeah, it's
wow. It's scary to see the level of corruption.
I agree. But
reaching
the only way we can do anything about it is to, speak up about it. And be a voice. That's what there's elitists that are doing right now, are trying to divide this country into these different groups. Like I don't really fit, into the I'm fiscally conservative but morally liberal on things. So like I don't really fit anywhere,
I feel the same.
Right.
For sure.
So,
Well, they both sides have swung to such an extreme that it's hard to really. It's a little almost like radical in a sense to be all of one or all of the other. You know, it's like there's definitely attributes of each that I'm like, yeah, I resonate with that. But then there's other things that I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that's about. Like, definitely not on board with that. Like that's
the
fucking
two-party
weird.
system is broken. You know, the
Yeah.
two-party system's broken, and these lifetime judge appointments, just like Congress. These people don't need to be like, they need to get out of there after 4 years because they no longer represent the people. They're ingrained to big companies, big pharma, big tobacco, the war machine. They're in, so they're in somebody else's pockets, and that influences how they vote. Not they're supposed to represent the people. You know,
right?
I think it's mostly that. I think the system's not broken. These people just aren't following the system, and I think that like basically these guys. I mean, capitalism, America, great system, everything's good. These people are exploiting it for personal gain. And like, I personally think putting people in office every 4 years would just get them eaten alive by the lobbyists. So the lobbyists would just stay there, and then they get a new guy every day. He's like, oh, I'm a hero. I'm going to office. And the first day he has to make enough money for like his donations for March or whatever in Congress, for example. And then he has to make all this money to look good and get in these clubs and get these committees and stuff. I mean, you have to spend like a lot of money to get a new committee, and you have to have two houses, one in your district, one in Washington D.C., just as Congress. And I think there's a lot of problems with that. I think they're like everyone's like these old. I mean, I don't think the problem's old people. I think we have the wrong old people. Like, I mean, it's like I know some smart fucking old people that know how to walk upstairs and complete sentences and shit. You know,
I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something,
I think
bro.
all these people are just they're lobbyists. Puppets is the problem. The lobbyists eat them alive, man. As soon as you go to Capitol Hill, you are in debt already because they don't pay them enough, really, which is a hard argument to make when people are struggling buying groceries and struggling with their bills and mortgages and stuff. No one makes enough, to be clear. So not just them, but no one makes enough. Like money is not caught up with inflation. So you go to Congress, right? You make $150,000. That's all you make. I mean, which sounds like a lot of money, but you have to have two houses. You mean two houses? You have to pay $40,000 to join the fucking like some bullshit farm committee to make fucking rules on that shit, or you're ostracized. You know what I mean? So where's your $40,000 coming from? Oh, the lobbyists. The lobbyists can be like, oh, here's your $40,000. All you gotta do is fucking give me your soul and vote every fucking way I say. You know, it's like so they trap all these people that come in there with all these ideals, and I mean, I can see how these people. You have to be really strong and really about your values to get anywhere, and a lot of these guys just aren't. They just think they made it. They think they're fucking famous. They're like, oh, now that I'm in Congress, I'm famous. Or now that I'm a governor, I'm famous. And like that's where a lot of these guys fuck up, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a sport these days. They look at like, oh, I'm a professional athlete. I'm a star. How much money can I make?
That's super true. That's a great metaphor.
It's all about the ego.
Yeah,
all about the ego.
And they use lobbyists as endorsements. You're right. Yeah, like they're not being sponsored right now.
To hide the money. That's how they hide the money. Look at all the people. If you look at, what is really telling for me, and I forget the exact statistics, but looking at people as they come in to office, right? And how much their net worth is, or they become a president, and then they're retiring or out of office years later, and they have 10, 20, $30 million. Like, how the fuck did you make that on $165,000 a year salary?
All right.
Selling out, man. That's what they do. That's what they do, man. Like, I ran for office, and the lady that beat me, basically is now a millionaire. She was broke, living in her fucking car, basically, and now she's a millionaire, bro. In 4 years, I ran in 2020, so in 4 years she became a millionaire, and the left in St. Louis is so like retarded, for lack of better terminology, that basically they're pushing a new guy who's just like a prosecuting attorney. So you're getting like all these people that they put in jail, they vote for a prosecuting attorney now. And I'm just like, man, you guys will never learn. I'm gonna live at the lake for the rest of my life. I'm like, you guys will never learn, and I'll just live in a tourist spot the rest of my life. And like, I mean, that's how I feel. It's like, they just won't learn, man. It's like crazy.
Absolutely.
I want to be a billionaire. Me too, Dustin. I want to be a billionaire too.
Me too, bro.
What's funny is we might all get our wish soon with inflation. So we might all be billionaires pretty soon.
Yeah.
So with the way the currency's going.
Love that. That's awesome.
We had a financial guy on last week. He was explaining inflation's happening so we could actually repay our debt to China with like nickels, basically. Like if money loses all value and we're $36 trillion in debt, like $36 trillion is losing value also as our currency is like basically like now our currency is basically doubled or half or whatever terminology Because like everyone's like, no, my house is worth double. I'm like, no, the dollar's worth half as much, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, so I mean, you're seeing that happen. So even like, so say we're $36 trillion in debt, we're actually now like $17 trillion in debt because of the American dollar.
And think about all the veterans and the homeless and all the people that are fucked up that need help in this country.
Yeah,
and meanwhile,
exactly.
we got $200 billion
Exactly.
for proxy wars, you know, all over the world. Or even look on our own border. I live in Texas, bro. You gotta exercise your Second Amendment right out here. All the time.
Yeah. That must be crazy living in Texas. Cause I mean, I'm in California, but just from what I've seen, it's so open that it's like scary how many people are coming. Is that something that you've had to really deal with firsthand?
There is a big boom of people moving out here, and then the immigration problem is a massive problem going on right now.
Yeah.
But a lot of that centers around these foreign governments and the power and stuff of the cartels and stuff. I mean,
oh yeah,
we're worried about what's going on way the fuck on the other side of the world, where our neighbor here, you know, there's massive wars through South and Central America, and that we just don't even talk about it. Right?
Yeah.
They don't talk about it. Oh, it's fucked up. Oh, yep. But you know,
they're like,
but weird. We need to help the Ukraine because that's where we launder our money.
Right. We need to fund a genocide. Yeah, let's just do that instead. Or like, let's give phones and hotels to illegal immigrants instead of like feeding and clothing and housing the homeless and mentally ill.
Well, actually, like, you did Joe talk about his Joe's got some really great ideas for policy. Actually, did he talk about his immigration policy?
I refresh my memory if not.
Anybody can come here, but you pay a $50. This is the same thing they do in Belize, some other countries. You pay a $50 fee a month, right? And they use that money, and you think about the tens of millions of hundreds of, I don't know how many, I don't know the facts. Somebody have to look it up. But just charging them $50 a month while they work through, they become citizens. That's money you can contribute back into the country. It would generate a tremendous amount of income.
Wow.
You know,
especially with so many people coming.
Exactly.
That's actually not a bad idea, but I feel like there would have to be a cap at some point because just the fact that there's more people is taking up more jobs and like,
and we're gonna pay for
the
everybody in
economy
the
would
whole world.
need to, But that's a decent idea. It's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So basically, you know, I mean, Joe's a political prisoner. 3 confidential con artists, you know, confidential informants, rats. You know, they lied under oath. They were directed by dirty fish and wildlife agents, corrupt U.S. attorneys. They knew. We now have all those people's phones. They turned them over to John Phillips because he was going to help them. And I guess they thought they'd erased the phones. I know Joe talked about this when he was on there. And they actually didn't, though. So they recovered all the collusion between the fish and wildlife and the dirty agents and then all this other stuff like fucking that Joe tried to bring up at the credit card fraud and sex trafficking. And and the fucking the U.S. attorneys and the government knew all about this.
Yeah,
again,
I remember when he told us about that. I was like, that guy gave me very like strong like Predator vibes. I didn't even know about that, and I was like not surprised at all.
Yeah.
That's probably what got him in trouble bringing up the sex trafficking rings. That's a very lucrative ring for all these criminals and stuff. And the FBI kind of babysits it.
It really is, especially with the government. They're totally tied into that.
Well, yeah.
At any time. Look at Joe's doing 22 years for a conspiracy to kill somebody that's a trumped up charge. And you got chomos that go rape a child. They fucking do 2 years or some shit. And they're right back out there in the world. You know?
Yeah. He's convicted of killing somebody that killed somebody.
Right.
It's how
she's like, only I can do this, not you.
Yeah. Right. And I agree with the comments too. Like I ran in the comments saying like it is definitely a privilege to live here. America is the best country that ever existed from my perspective. Like and I think that like I mean it's got its problems, whatever but we can at least for now complain about them, you know. And I think like what I found out about Joe is super unfair, man. Like he hasn't even seen the show on Netflix. I heard, and then like that's kind of nuts to me.
He actually got to watch it for the first time. We're working with John Pierce Law out of DC. Joe's got a new attorney. And then there's another gentleman that's working on it. I can't discuss that, but also the gentleman that handled the Bundy trial. and won the Bundy case. Is working with John Pierce and them,
Which
and
Bundy?
they came down, huh? The ranch, the Bundy Ranch people.
Oh, Bundy Ranch. Okay, I thought you meant Ted Bundy. Like Ted Bundy.
Oh yeah, no, I was thinking. Yeah, I guess
I thought you meant Ted Bundy too.
yeah. Sorry, no, the Bundy Ranch situation.
Yeah. Was that in Oregon?
Okay.
I believe so.
Something like that.
So
Okay, I'm familiar.
So they worked on that. They came down. They saw Joe this week, and they let him. They brought their phone. They let him watch he watched the whole thing.
Wow.
And
that's wild.
He was shocked. I mean, he's like, look how they portrayed me.
Wow.
But I'm like, bro, but you're the protagonist. You're the down and out guy.
It's like he's like the underdog. He's the anti-hero. That's always my favorite character. Is not I don't want the hero. I want the anti-hero. I want the fucking, the bad guy, but he has a good heart and he's actually the good. He's like the secret undercover good guy. Like
right. No, Joe wore his heart on his sleeve, and his and probably the biggest problem in all of this is he believed in the criminal justice system in America. And this is why when he was 55, he'd never had a traffic ticket his whole life.
Wow.
And then he was arrested for this when he was 55. And so he went into court thinking, I wasn't trying to kill this dumb bitch. Like, I'm just going to go in here and tell the truth. And and he believed in the justice system. But he didn't realize, there was,
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there's more layers to it than just what meets the eye,
Right.
So it's
there's
like
so much more. So we'll touch on some of that in the new series. We touch on a lot of things, but I just want to be an advocate for Joe and continue. I've known Joe, over 12 years. I would have never worked with him if he was an animal abuser in the past, and I wouldn't defend him or work with him now if he was a horrible person. I mean, but he's getting his voice out there a lot. The prison tries to really silence him. This firsthand. You guys did an interview.
We couldn't even get through to. Yeah, that was fucking weird.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, they won't even. Oh yeah, if you're media, they won't. When Harvey Levin wanted to do a big, we were going to do. There was going to do a Fox primetime special last year, and Harvey Levin had Bob Wade reach out. The Robert Wade, the CEO of Fox. The CEO of Fox hits up the warden, tells them they want to do it, and fills out all the paperwork, and they turned him down. With the thousands of other media requests. They won't even let Joe talk to his attorneys. Practically, the attorneys that just went and saw him was the first year. The attorneys that worked with Joe last year, they denied them access for almost the whole year.
Is that legal?
It's highly illegal, but they play this game where you got to get a hold of this person.
Oh my God!
You got to talk to the administrator. Right?
It's like you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so we would, and I would talk to Joe, and he would be like, "I just left the administrator's office," and I would be there with the attorney, and I'm like, "Holy shit, they've been calling all day, and they say he's not even there." And he's like, "Dude, I just walked out of his office down here." So they just play this game. They're trying to keep him. They have some egg on their face because this case is so fucked up. It'll never go back to trial with the testimony of the people involved, especially everything that's come to light now. So
why not? I mean, you can't retry something?
Oh no, I'm just saying the feds won't take this back to trial. Joe gets a new appeal. This goes back into court. What are they gonna call up the people who signed affidavits and have now been proven to be human traffickers and sex traffickers and fucking con artists and use their testimony now? Plus, try to find me a jury in this country that doesn't or hasn't seen the Tiger King. So, like, they're gonna clearly, they're gonna clearly. I don't think they'll take it back to trial at all.
Yeah,
it's just a big publicity. They threw Joe away like they throw away to tens of thousands of other Americans, lots of black and brown people. And they just throw them away. And they threw Joe away because they didn't like him. He was he was a gay redneck with a gun and some tigers, and the judge was like, "What the fuck?" And so they threw him away. But what they didn't realize is suddenly this man's got millions of fans all over the world. So yeah.
This was all before his show and his fame too, right? Like, I mean, he had fame clearly because he's running. I mean, he had 20% of the libertarian vote in Oklahoma, and he had a lot of people watch his show. So I'm not trying to downplay anything. But before his international fame and Netflix fame, like that was all before that, right?
Yeah, when we shot the pilot, he had Joe Exotic TV, right?
Yeah.
He had, to be honest, like Joe, I think had one of the earlier podcasts. Like he was doing that stuff. But
Yeah.
when I met him in 2012,
Wow.
I worked on the online show, but the main function I did is I shot the sizzle reel that then sold the show into pilot. And
Nice.
and actually at that time, Joe did have a lot of fans. All our videos that year we worked with. People don't know a lot about this. A good friend of mine is a gentleman named Danny Cotton. He's the current COO of World Star Hip Hop.
Oh, nice.
And at the time, he worked for Q before he passed away, and he had helped us do a big marketing push that summer. So at the same time, we were pushing the show for sale. So that way, as
Yeah.
executives and people go look, they're like, "Oh, who is this guy? Oh, he's got millions of views."
Yeah.
So there was a big push, and I think Joe's life would have been totally different if it hadn't happened like that. But what ended up happening is during the pilot, SAF had their arm ripped off.
That's so
And
brutal. That is so brutal.
yeah, I was, it's crazy. I was filming that. Well, two camera operators were filming that, and I was standing right there. And
Holy fuck.
and what SAF was doing, there was a section where these tigers are in a bigger cages, and you shift them into a smaller cage so that you go into the big cage, you clean it up, you put some enrichment toys out for them, put some food in there,
Yeah.
and it's like they shift in the small cage, and there's a gate that shuts, and they had like a pole with a hook, and so you would grab the gate inside, shut it, put a padlock on it, and then go in
Yeah.
the big cage. And
Right.
I don't know, for whatever reason, SAF was shifting these tigers into this tiny little cage and then just sticking their arm down in the cage and shutting the gate with the tiger. And about the sixth or seventh time that she did that, the tiger actually just kind of, I didn't even see the motion. The tiger just kind of swatted at her, was just
And
playing.
it took the SWAT literally took her arm off.
And just a little swat, it removed all the meat and everything except for the bone from the elbow down and her hand.
Oh my God.
And Joe got over there, and I credit Joe, and I know Saf will say Joe saved Saf's life that day. Joe got over there, saved Saf's life, and if you talk to Rinky about it, talk to some other people, a lot of people, because there's radical animal rights groups that poison Joe's chimpanzees. They used to attack his facility. They would take feral kittens, and honestly, we can't pinpoint, is it PETA, is it Carol, who is it specifically, but they would get kittens infected with like distemper and then release them in the night in the park to try to kill the other animals. So I've heard from many people say that SAF was supposed to intentionally have an accident to mess things up, but it just wasn't supposed to be that bad.
That's so fucked up, man. Like, is she doing okay? Like, what happened to her? I don't know.
So the she lost her arm. They care flighted her to Oklahoma City Hospital, to OU. They reattached her arm, and but she was going to have to go through, I don't know, maybe 10 surgeries over the next few years to get the hand fully functioning again. And she loved the animals, so she opted to have it amputated, and got a prosthetic and went right back to work at the park the next week.
Holy shit.
But that's, it was a great experience being around those animals, and I think that's indicative of it. At that time when that happened for me, I had been shooting a lot that year, and that's when I told Joe, I said, hey, maybe I'm gonna work remotely and do some consulting and come up occasionally.
Yeah.
Because it could have been anybody. I had at that time, you had to have training to be around a big cat, and I'd went through it, and Joe made me go through it, because Joe's a G. Joe's like, because when I was wanting to film, he's like, I'm going to shoot through the bars here, and he's like, no, you can't shoot through you got to come in the cage. You can't have the bars in the shot. And,
my God.
And so I was around the tigers a lot.
That's awesome.
And people don't, and they didn't realize, like, Joe was their dad. Joe bottle fed them, raised them, and so he imprinted on them very early. And then, like I said, and then he didn't abuse them, so
Right.
he can't, so he could go in with any of them. I had animals the year I was there. We shot the sizzle reel in the pilot. There was tigers that I bottle fed and was around a lot.
Yeah.
And I would be kind of comfortable, and then for photos, like, you don't realize, because a tiger, I don't know, a 2-year-old tiger could be 200 or 300 pounds.
Right.
But they're just a big puppy,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then they're just two, right? But they definitely you know, but
That's a wild time, man. Like it seems like were they just partying the whole time in between? Like during those 10 years, it seemed like they had a lot of like these guys were wild. They're partying a lot. I mean, the dude had 2 husbands. I imagine he partied a lot. You know.
You know what, Joe? Like I told you earlier, Joe worked day and night. Joe's ex-husband. Joe's problem is he let the John was a big fucking crackhead, the toothless rat that testified against Joe, the gay toothless rat.
The gay toothless rat.
Yeah. And he smoked meth regularly, right? Not in front of Joe. And Joe knew about it, right? Joe didn't enable it. People always be like, "Oh, Joe didn't give him his drugs." Like, dude was a drug addict, and Joe loved him and was just like, he's a drug addict. I remember one night I was there during the shooting the sizzle reel, and I went outside to smoke. It was about 11 or 12. I was going to go to bed. I went step outside to smoke a cigarette, and John came walking out of the bushes, dripping sweat, huge pupils, in full camo, right, with his face all dirty, and he had an AR. And I remember thinking, like, what the fuck? And he came and he was all twacked out, and he was like, "Oh, I got information. Animal rights people's gonna sneak into the park tonight." He's like, "So I'm hiding in the bushes. They're gonna get a big surprise."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Oh," I stuffed my cigarette out. "Oh, I gotta go to bed, bro. It's cool. I'll see you back inside." But but Joe did, and then Travis smoked weed. Joe let Travis smoke weed. John was a crackhead. The kid later was a crackhead. But Joe having 2 husbands isn't really partying. That's just him being, he's a polygamist.
He's polyamory. Yeah, I feel that.
And so they make it seem like it's fun, but yeah. Now the rest of the people, the con artists and Jeff Lowe and all those guys, like, of course they just partied. In fact,
you could tell they partied for
got
sure.
some recordings of them. In fact, if you go look at the evidence, and we just got some new ones where they lured girls to the park.
I could totally see that
with baby tigers, and
God!
And then they would fucking roofie them, and yep. And so they use the baby tigers like that. So they did some things, but they make it.
I never understood the rapist mentality of like you want to bang somebody unconscious. It's just like such a weird. That's such a weird thing.
It's disgusting. Like
it's fucking just weird.
I need this other human to interact.
I can't wait to knock that girl out so I can fucking bang her dog. This sounds crazy. This sounds fucking crazy to me. I mean, I can't even rationalize how that's an idea to people. I mean, I don't know. It's all you have to.
It's bizarre.
You just exist, right? And then like people like want to like you and stuff. Like, I mean, that how the world works. Like, you just like be yourself, and then like somebody wants to like you or something. I don't know. I've been married like 8 years. I couldn't imagine having to roofie somebody. It makes no sense.
I mean, no, it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
I just can't. I can't even understand that. That's just weird to me. No, I mean, it's completely immoral and disgusting, also, and evil.
King dirtbag shit.
Yeah.
Chomos, pedophiles, sex traffickers, like fuck all these people, right?
I just never understand that thought process. There's like, you see that girl over there? I can't wait till she's fucking unconscious, dog. It's like,
I love it when they stop breathing and talking and shit, making eye contact with me.
The talking, I understand.
The best.
If women didn't talk, it'd be better. I'm just joking, but I'm just fucking. I understand the no talking part, but it's just like I've never like looked over my wife while she's sleeping. I'm like, man, I should just bang her while she's sleeping. That's just crazy to me.
I know.
It is gross, but it's also just fucking insane. Like, I have no idea how people think like that. I've never understood I've never understood that mentality.
Very weird.
Somebody can't hear somebody. Is it? Which
Going
one of us?
in and out of the live. I mean, we can wrap it up if you want. I can't hear you. Oh shit.
I'll just use sign language from now on and just like I'll let everybody know.
I like that your like sign language is cool, bro.
Kung Fu sign language. I'm a black belt in sign language. But no, okay. So I mean, JT, I appreciate you coming on here. If you guys want to do some more stuff, I'm down. Like, I mean,
definitely.
If you ever want to talk on here about any other projects, or when Tiger King 3 comes out or something, like, necrophilia is what they call that, fucking weirdos. Yeah, it's like, who wants to bang a dead person? That's fucking crazy to me. I mean, it's just like, I can't wait till that fucking bitch dies so I could What do you?
Very
It's like,
weird.
you want to go on a date? You want to get some dinner, and I'll fucking murder you, and then we got sex. It'd be great. It's like, well, I don't understand the process. Sorry, I get trapped in that. I get trapped in it. I just don't understand the process. Are these people that can't get laid normally just by like lying about being rich like everybody else? And then
Yeah,
what you're supposed to do?
exactly.
You're supposed to be like, dude, did you know I'm a billionaire? You know I'm independently fucking wealthy. That's crazy. Anyway,
I'm not. I'm fucking broke. I ain't got nothing going. Although I
Well, if
am
you wanna
working on
take
my
JT
master's
out-
at SMU. I do got a 21-year-old girlfriend,
Oh, there you go. Shit.
and you know, and I got a vet downstairs. You know, but I got the
Nice.
money, y'all.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
broke. I have a Corvette. See, it's not adding up, dog. It's not adding up.
That's where all the money went.
No,
Do you have anything you want to promo or plug before we end?
I mean, I just really want anybody and everybody listening, please get on Twitter, get on Instagram, at your politicians, at people, hashtag free Joe Exotic. You know, Joe doesn't deserve to be in there. We need to get him out of there. You know, you can go to joeexoticofficial.com, and there's over all the evidence I told you about and all the things, you know, you can go view all 600 videos, all the court cases related to it, and just support Joe, you know.
Yeah.
And we also have a new Solana meme coin. T King is the ticker. It's on Solana, so this directly supports Joe's legal battle and other things.
Nice.
So
you said it's Solana. How's it spelled? Solana?
Yeah, so Solana, so meme coins, it's like they have Ethereum, they have Solana, they have different cryptos.
Okay.
And then they kind of have like penny stocks. They're like shit coins. You trade them with Solana. Okay. So, but that's all the information's on there's information on Joe Exotic Official about T King as well. Cool. And no, I'd love to, you know, next time we'll try to get Joe in here with us together.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that. Yeah.
And see him. Were you guys, when your interview, I don't remember, there's been a lot. Did he call you, or were you able to do one of the video ones?
We couldn't do the video. We called him.
Oh yeah. You know, because when we were in Florida for the civil trial, when he won the rights to his music back, they had video phones at the county jail they were holding him. And he loved it. He stayed on the phone all day.
Yeah,
that's actually what. And reach out to Joe's pages. Joe, if you go look up Joe's address, if you write Joe writes every single person who writes him anything.
That's
awesome.
That's actually how I got in contact with you and Joe. Whoever's running Joe Exotic's page hit me up, and like I definitely appreciate them. And like they definitely introduced me to Joe and you. Yep. And I definitely appreciate them for like.
And he reads all that stuff. Like, people don't realize, of course, he doesn't have direct access to it where he is, but there's a team that he reads all the messages, the responses.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
We were just hollering we were on a space on Twitter yesterday with Little Pump, right? And Joe's familiar with his music, and then but then I don't know. Joe was like, "Here's the post," and he's like shooting his shot at. He's done with MGK. He's shooting his shot at Little Pump. I just thought it was funny. You seen him shoot a shot at MGK, right?
What happened?
Yeah.
It went super viral.
What happened
when MGK blacked out this weird European thing he did and covered up all his cool tattoos, right? Joe went and commented on his picture, a baby tiger and a bit of meth, and I'll make you gay.
Yeah. That shit was hilarious.
I thought MGK was already gay.
Oh my god!
I mean, he was smashing the Transformers girl, right? Like,
right.
I just
Megan Fox, yeah, Megan Fox.
Megan Fox, yeah.
I thought all goths were gay. I don't know. I didn't know there were straight goths. Nothing personal. I just thought that. I thought that growing up. I thought it's like all goths were gay.
But yeah, please follow Joe. You know, it's at Joe_exotic on Instagram. And you know, in the Twitter. And you can follow me too. Frankie was doing his reporting in the hurricane earlier when he was interrupting us. So if I'm gonna do my Frankie, it's at JT Barnett 45 on Instagram, on Twitter. You know, follow me. I interact with everybody. But this is about Joe. Support Joe.
Yeah.
You know, help be his voice, because they're trying to silence him. And this is such a pivotal time in our country's history. And so, you know, we need to come together as a country about things like this.
I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I like Frankie a lot. He's one of the smartest weathermen I've ever met in my entire life. But dude, I like no fucking instinct on when you're getting an exclusive from the 3rd season of Tiger King. I'm like,
Well,
we're
he's
literally hearing
autistic,
about.
so he just
I
can't.
didn't
He
say
can't
3rd
read the
season.
room.
I didn't say 3rd season. I said new docuseries though.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So there is a docuseries. It's very near. It's very near completion.
Nice.
We're finishing up a lot of post production now. It's got some crazy shit you won't believe.
That's what I'm saying though. Like
Yeah,
you have like the exclusive here, and he comes back on just to promote his links. I'm like, I love the kid, but I'm like, you can't be doing that. That's
lacking self-awareness.
Dustin's asking how do we write him? Like Brianna and Dustin are both in the comments on Facebook. It looks like asking how they want to.
Yeah. Again, joeexoticofficial.com. It's got all the information, right? Joe, his bio, his music, the evidence. It's got swag. You want underwear, you want bathing suits, you want some Tiger King shit. But you can write a contact.
Nice.
You can write him directly, and it's got the address and everything.
That's
and
awesome. Fuck yeah.
Number and
that's good to know.
Asking for the address, but Dustin, the address is on joeexoticofficial.com. Has all the information there. Just what JT was saying. Yeah, hit him up. No, there are people on Instagram actually. That's who introduced me to him and you. I mean, it was a blessing, really. I mean, to have a podcast, to have you produce one of the biggest documentaries on the fucking planet.
I'm a glorified button pusher, man. I just hit the button at the right time a few times, and
yeah.
It worked out for me over the years.
You're allowed to be humble, but you should also be proud of your accomplishment. I think everybody goes into when they create work, they want to be seen by people, and I think you definitely did that. I think you succeeded in the American sport of art, which is basically create good art and have everybody watch it. I think that's definitely. I mean, I appreciate your humbleness.
Well, no, I love my country. I love capitalism.
Yeah.
I'm American. I'm Texan. But
I think Joe is super lucky to have you as a friend, and I'm really glad that we're able to be here to share his story and get on this platform where Rumble supports our podcast and it gets decent views. So I really hope that coming on here and talking about it will make a difference.
No, I mean, thank you to Vixen, thank you Anthony, thank you Rumble.
Yeah, on Rumble alone, we're at 1.1 thousand views right now.
Excellent.
Nice. That's amazing. That's so good. It's gonna blow up. Lately, it's been going from 40 to 80,000 per episode.
Yeah, and cross-platform, we're probably at about 2,000 just with everything else we got going. Like we had a couple on Facebook, a couple on Twitter.
You mean just live?
Just live.
Nice. That's awesome.
So I mean,
thank you to all those people tuning in.
Yeah,
thank you, Joe. Joe appreciates it. Joe would have off himself. Joe would have given up a long time ago if it wasn't for the fans and the people out here. And that's literally what keeps him going.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got to be important in a situation like that. Like that was one of the darkest podcasts I've ever done. And I was expecting to be like lighthearted because, like you said, as a gun-toting guy, like with 2 husbands and stuff, I was like, this is gonna be a fun episode. Yeah. And I didn't realize how bad his situation was, like health-wise and prison-wise, all that. I was like,
he has lung cancer.
That was one of the darkest and saddest episodes I've ever done, and like I had so much empathy for him. I'm just trying to. I couldn't imagine being in that situation or anybody else in that situation. He's really in it right now.
It's tragic.
It really is so messed up, and he creates so much joy for people too, just through entertainment and a really rough time for myself and a lot of other people. I think 2020 is a very rough time. And I think that the joy that man created for people, I think he's
an entertainer. He doesn't deserve it. And even if he had done something wrong, he's already been there 7 years. And prison's rough, especially when you're openly gay and as famous as Joe. Like shit. Like everybody thinks he's a millionaire, but Netflix, Joe made no money.
Right.
Well, the secret is Netflix only pays like nothing anyway. So they pay like $70,000 to license them for like 2 years. But
hence why we're not. They were asking where we're going. We may very well be, talking to Netflix, but they don't. They don't want to. This has turned into one of a very massive IP. This is $100 million IP.
The brand's worth so much now. The brand's worth so much now. And I was in a way lesser known movie on Netflix, and like the director told me like they signed that for $70,000, and I'm just like, I can't believe like art doesn't make money. It's all money laundering. It seems like to me. Like the guys that pretend they make so much money of it. Other than you have the Tiger King brand, that's actually evaluated at millions of dollars. I believe that one. But when you see like these guys like, oh yeah, I make movies and music and I'm a millionaire, I'm like, oh, that doesn't add up.
You're a drug dealer, bro.
Yeah, I'm like,
right.
The music industry. Just be honest. This is how you launder your. This is how you launder your. You're starting to see that. Look, I mean, look at the fucking
Right.
diddler.
Yeah.
The
I was
diddler
just
came
thinking
out.
that when
Oh
you said
shit,
that.
he's a new Epstein. That's
I'm
fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
pretty
I'm
much.
actually working on a new comedy set, right? It's like I explain how all rappers are gay. I'm just, he's like they're like dancing and singing while they're like talking about girls. It's like hilarious.
What's so lame though is like, why can't they just own it? Like,
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? It's like they're all like afraid to just be like, this is who I am. They gotta like pretend to be something they're not. That's why I admire Joe so much. Is like he's just so authentically himself, unapologetically. Like, you know?
Yeah, he's been like that forever. Like, I mean,
That's amazing. I
he's
love
always
that.
a tough. He's like a, it's different. He's not a soy boy. He's fucking an alpha male.
Yeah,
He's
right.
getting it. He used to run around with his husband. They used to wear Western. I used to love. We would go out places. We're with 6 people. They're dressed like fucking gunslingers from the 1800s, right? They're all carrying 357s.
It's amazing.
It's like, oh, we're just going to Walmart or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But it was so cool,
That's
man.
so funny. Oh my god, love that.
That is awesome. But I know
Yeah,
we call
love
us Missouri
you.
goodbye. We say goodbye 17 times. That's what we call. I'm from Missouri. That's what we call the Missouri goodbye, where we continue to say goodbye. But I know. Thank you guys for being on here. Thank you, Nikki, for being the best co-host in the game. Thank you, JT, for producing one of the best documentaries of all time, like most viewed at least. You know that we can all agree to that. And I think and I appreciate your work and your compassion to your friend. Everybody watching this, thank you for spending your Tuesday night watching this. I know the East Coast is very late. It's like 11 o'clock there. You're watching that right now. I appreciate you all. I appreciate my friends on Facebook watching and commenting. I appreciate everybody on Rumble backing this. I appreciate like literally everybody. Somehow we're on LinkedIn tonight too. I don't even know what that means yet. I'll have to check this out on that.
Oh, I forgot about the LinkedIn.
But thank you everybody. And tomorrow we'll be back with one of Nikki's friends, a porn star, male porn star. So we've never interviewed a male porn star. I don't think so. It's gonna be a different take on.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
We've had several porn stars. One co-host the fucking show, for Christ's sake. We've had several porn stars. But we'll have a male porn star on tomorrow. So if you have any questions, make sure to watch. And if you don't watch it, you're gay. So thank you all. Have a great night. I'm gonna go enjoy getting drunk at the Lake of the Ozarks. Bye. If you're at the Lake of the Ozarks, come find me.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Much love.
Thank you.
Free Joe Exotic.
Yes, sir. God bless Joe and you. And if you're at the Lake of the Ozarks right now, come find me and let's get drunk. Later on.
Fuck yeah. Let's do it.